What's up? Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Another Perspective. I have been missing for the month of May, but now I am back. I think I did like one episode in May, and then I took the rest off for my birthday because May is my birthday month. And I think a lot of what happened for me in May has inspired today's episode. And so I think I want to kind of get right into it. You know, they say for your birthday, on that day, fill it with things that you would like to experience more of in the coming year to mark a new chapter. And usually my birthdays are eventful. A lot of times when we think about birthdays, we think of spending time with the people that we care about and we love, and also doing non-sober activities and just having a great time, right? And not to say that you have to have all those things to have a great time, but I knew for myself I wanted my birthday to be a little more intimate than it usually is. And so I did that. I filled my day with what I felt like I didn't experience much of in the last year, but wanted to experience more of this year, which was rest, reflection, a bit of stillness, and a lot more love for myself. I also filled it with time. I gave myself time to think. I gave myself time to rationalize certain things that I was having trouble processing. And I also gave myself time to feel deeply. I took time away from the podcast, from work, from family, from friends. And I really did make that day just for me. It didn't really last only for that day. You see, this was a theme that carried out for the rest of May for me. And I'm genuinely grateful for what that time brought me. I found myself reviewing and evaluating why and how certain experiences changed me. Whether they tore me down, they built me up, they shaped me, and they molded me to be the version of myself that I am today. Last year was heavy. You know, I found myself relearning lessons that I already thought I learned. And I went through another cycle of being rattled in a way that caused me to lose confidence and caused me to lose trust in myself. And I had to regain that all over again. I had to pull myself up by my bootstraps, all while still being present amongst the things that shattered me and broke my heart. I didn't have the option to distract myself no matter how much I wanted to. And I was put in a position to sit with it. I had to sit in sadness. I had to sit in heartbreak and still show up every day regardless of that exhaustion. Somehow May became the month that I stopped running from certain truths that I did not want to acknowledge. I began to honor myself by becoming more honest about my pain, more honest about the heartbreaks I experienced, more honest about the decisions that led me there, and also by being more honest about certain things that I wasn't accepting. And so that moment in time of introspection really refined me. And I wanted to share that here with y'all because that is what inspired this episode. And that was very healing for me to go through. So maybe what I share here with you today can contribute to your healing as well. Okay? So, I want to start first. I'm going to say, acknowledge the shirt, y'all. Humans Club. I wish y'all could see the back. Y'all can't see the back today, but maybe I'll, shoot a clip or something where y'all can eventually see the back of the shirt. But the back does say, I hope all my homies heal from the things they don't talk about. And, I kind of want to start doing that more. I'm going to start wearing more shirts that kind of reflects the podcast. So I like that. I've been getting a lot of compliments, and I thought I'd start wearing it on my episodes. So here we go. Today I want to talk about acceptance. The things that we struggle to accept about other people, the things that we struggle to accept about life and accept about ourselves. And I know that this conversation may be uncomfortable for many, but what if I told you that some of our greatest pain, some of our greatest heartbreaks begin when we refuse to acknowledge and accept what we already know isn't quite aligned with us. As I reflected on my birthday, on the previous year, on the last year, the recent year, I realized something uncomfortable but honest, right? While there were certainly things that happened to me, I played a role in that, there was also moments where I participated in my own suffering by refusing to accept what I already knew. I say this because most times it's easy to be victimized by life circumstances, and I'm not saying the things that's outside of our control at all, because I know some people will try to flip this episode to make it seem like I'm victim blaming, and that's not the case at all. I'm talking about the situations, the relationships, the opportunities, and the experiences that we continue to engage with, knowing full well, despite every piece of us, every part of us telling us that this is not for you. I think that sometimes the lines can get blurred because we see the betrayal and the pain, and we see it as something that's happening to us and not for us. Now, this is not for anyone to take offense. So before you write off my words, just hear me out real quick, all right? Consider this. And you can apply this to just about anything in life, by the way. When making certain decisions, we sometimes can be blinded by the excitement that comes with certain opportunities, right? And we start to think with the end in mind. We think about the potential. We think about the possibility. We think about the future. And we become so focused on where this opportunity could lead that we tend to overlook what's being shown to us in present time. You ultimately begin to find ways to ignore the red flags. You rationalize behaviors that wouldn't necessarily always sit right with you. And you dismiss the discomfort you feel, even to the point where you may begin to convince yourself that you're overthinking, or you're being too judgmental, or maybe you're not giving something enough of a chance. So with this in mind, you start to hold space in hopes that, with enough time, with enough patience, understanding, or love, that things will eventually change and become what you once imagined it to be. But why is it that we rarely ask ourselves, what is this experience showing me? And I think that's the piece that actually ties this all together, is knowing what this experience is showing you. It's knowing what kind of opportunity you're actually being presented with. It's having that inner dialogue to ask yourself, is this an opportunity to trust my gut or betray myself based on the evidence presented? It's about knowing that maybe this experience isn't just about the other party involved. Maybe this is something that is revealing something about the relationship with myself. So now the question becomes, what are you worth and where are your values most important? In other words, are you willing to compromise yourself for a good time or for resources? A lot of us don't really learn that lesson quickly. Sometimes we'll repeat the cycle until we have an experience that wakes us up to something that could have been avoided through our own discernment. And again, not talking self-blame. Of course, you cannot control another person or what an environment is doing. But you do have a choice of what you allow yourself to participate in. Taking the responsibility for your part in what plays out and how your decisions do become a factor. In what moment are you deciding against yourself and why? What is that trade-off? Is it ignoring certain behaviors just to preserve the connection simply because you're afraid of being alone? Is it ignoring the mistreatment or hostility for the income or the lifestyle just to survive? Is it staying somewhere that you know isn't healthy for you because you're afraid of what could happen if you do leave? Or is it just simply silencing your discomfort because you don't want to ruffle feathers or you don't want to be judged? The reasoning can be deeper than the problem itself. And sometimes that answer already lies deep within us, under layers of trauma that causes us to sacrifice ourselves in search of finding comfort. So it's no longer something that is desired, because we'll tend to look for that comfort in other people, in other places, and experiences, especially when it's something that we're struggling to give ourselves. So now the question becomes, what am I seeking? And how can I provide that for myself so it doesn't come at my own expense? I'm going to close this out and I'm going to leave y'all with this. Sometimes the risk is not worth the reward when the risk is you losing yourself. In life, you will only be considered where you are considered. So if no one else does, you be the one to consider yourself. This has been another perspective. I will see y'all next time. Peace out.